Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm Mrs. Young and this is Mr. Mann. Welcome to the Gregory School's annual Poetry Out Loud competition.
A national contest that encourages the nation's youth to learn about great poetry through memorization and recitation. This program helps students master public speaking skills, build their self-confidence, and learn about our shared literary heritage. A total of $50,000 in scholarship awards and school stipends are awarded at the Poetry Out Loud National Finals, with a $20,000 college scholarship award for the national champion.
Today we have 11 participants representing the 11 English classes in the upper school. We'll be determining our one school winner who will advance to the regional competition held at the U of A Poetry Center on February 27th.
The 11 performers today all won their class competitions for excellence in the following categories: physical presence, voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, evidence of understanding, and overall performance.
They'll be evaluated today on the same categories. We're delighted to have with us 3 qualified judges who were generous enough to give of their time and talents. First, we'd like to welcome Kate Selby, the digital content manager of Edible Baja, Arizona, a magazine that shares stories about food and culture in Tucson. Kate Selby is a Tucson native turned writer and artist. When not managing the online presence of Edible Baja, Arizona, she can be found wrangling 3 cats, 2 dogs, and 1 baby, and running her freelance web design business. She earned a BA in creative writing and a BFA in studio art from the University of Arizona, and is happy to report that she did indeed find gainful employment after graduation. Welcome, Ms. Selby.
Second, we'd like to welcome poet, professor, chamber music, and poodle enthusiast Boyer Rickel, who is also my longtime neighbor. Boyer has received poetry fellowships from the National Endowment for the Arts and the Arizona Commission on the Arts. He is the author of several poetry collections, including Remnants, Taboo, Arreboles, and a chapbook called Reliquary. He taught in the University of Arizona Creative Writing Program for 20 years. Welcome, Boyer.
And third, we'd like to welcome back former Gregory School English teacher and my personal hero, Cheryl Pickerel. Ms. Pickerel loves poetry better than anybody I know. She sees the poetic pulse in the vermilion flycatcher, in the curious questions of her 3 grandsons, and in a perfectly brewed cup of coffee. Welcome, judges, and thank you again.
Hello, I'm Connor Heroes, and I will be reciting April Midnight by Arthur Symons. Side by side through the streets at midnight, roaming together in the tumultuous night of London, in the miraculous April weather. Roaming together under the gaslight, day's work over, how the spring calls to us here in the city, calls to the heart, from the heart of a lover. Cool to the wind blows, fresh in our faces, cleansing, entrancing. After the heat and the fumes and the footlights, where you dance and I watch you dancing. Good it is to be here together, good to be roaming, even in London, even in midnight, lovers like in a lover's glooming. You the dancer, and I the dreamer, children together, wandering, lost in the night of London, in the miraculous April weather. Thank you.
My name is Javier Kataria, and today I will be reciting Self-Inquiry Before the Job Interview by Gary Soto. Did you sneeze? Yes, I rid myself of the imposter inside me. Did you iron your shirt? Yes, I used the steam of mother's hate. Did you wash your hands? Yes, I learned my hygiene from a raccoon. I prayed on my knees, and my knees answered with pain. I gargled. I polished my shoes until I saw who I was. I inflated my resume by employing my middle name. I walked to my interview early. The sun like a ring on an electric stove. I patted my hair as I entered the wind of a revolving door. The guard said, "For a guy like you, it's the 19th floor." The economy was up. Flags whipped in every city plaza in America. This I saw for myself as I rode the elevator. Empty. Because everyone had a job but me. Did you clean your ears? Yes, I heard my fate in the drinking fountain's idiotic drivel. Did you slice a banana into your daily mush? I added a pinch of salt, 2 raisins to sweeten my breath. Did you remember your pen? I remembered my fingers when the elevator opened. I shook hands that dripped like a dirty sea. I found a chair and desk. My name tag said my name. Through the glass ceiling, I saw the heavy rumps of CEOs. Outside my window, the sun was a burning stove. All of us pushing papers to keep it going. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alex Nessie, and I will be reciting Work Without Hope by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Lines composed 21st February, 1825. All nature seems at work. Slugs leave their lair. The bees are stirring. Birds are on the wing. And winter, slumbering in the open air, wears on his smiling face a dream of spring. And I the while, the sole unbusy thing, nor honey make, nor pair, nor build, nor sing. Yet, well I ken the banks where amaranths blow, have traced the fount whence streams of nectar flow. Bloom, O ye amaranths, bloom for whom ye may. For me ye bloom not. Glide, rich streams, away. With lips unbrightened, wreathless brow, I stroll. And would you learn the spells that drowse my soul? Work without hope draws nectar in a sieve, and hope without an object cannot live.
Hi, my name is Ella Maltzman, and I will be reciting Quite Frankly by Mark Halliday. They got old. They got old and died. But first they composed plangent depictions of how much they lost and how much cared about losing. Meantime, their hair got thin and more thin as their shoulders went slumpy. Okay, but not before the photo albums got arranged by them. Arranged with a niftiness. Not just 2 or 3, but 18 photo albums. Yes, 18 eventually. 18 albums, proving the beauty of them and not someone else. Them and their relations and friends, incontrovertible. Playing croquet in that Bloomington yard. Floating on those comic inflatables at Dow Lake. Giggling at the Dairy Queen, waltzing at the wedding. Building a Lego palace on the porch. Holding the baby beside the rental truck. Leaning on the Hemingway statue at Pamplona. Discussing the eternity of art at that Sardinian restaurant. Yes, and so quite frankly, at the end of the day, they got old and died. Okay, sure, but quite frankly, how much does that matter? In view of the 18 photo albums, big ones, 13 inches by 12 inches, each full of such undeniable beauty. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Caitlin McCormick, and I'll be reciting Dear Reader by Rita Mae Reese. You have forgotten it all. You have forgotten your name, where you lived, who you loved, why. I am simply your nurse, terse and unlovely. I point to things and remind you what they are. Chair, book, daughter, soup. And when we are alone, I tell you what lies in each direction. This way is death, and this way, after a longer walk, is death, and that way is death, but you won't see it until it is right in front of you. Once, after your niece had been to visit you, and I said something about how you must love her, or she must love you, or something useless like that, you gripped my forearm in your terrible, swift hand and said, "She is everything." You gave me a shake. Everything to me. And then you fell back into the well, deep in the well of everything. And I stand at the edge and call, chair, book, daughter, soup.
Hello, my name is Kai Morfin, and I will be performing Football by Louis Jenkins. I take the snap from the center. Fake to the right, fade back. I've got protection. I've got a receiver open downfield. What the hell is this? This isn't a football. It's a shoe. A man's brown leather Oxford. A cousin to a football? Maybe. The same skin, but not the same. A thing made for the earth, not the air. I realize that this is a world where anything is possible, and I understand also that one often has to make do with what one has. I've eaten pancakes, for instance, with that clear corn syrup on them, because there was no maple syrup. And they weren't very good. Well, anyway, this is different. My man downfield is waving his arms. One has certain responsibilities. One has to make choices. This isn't right, and I'm not going to throw it. Thank you.
My name is Asha Ramakumar, and I will be reciting I Think I Should Have Loved You Presently by Edna St. Vincent Millay. I think I should have loved you presently, and given in earnest words I flung in jest, and lifted honest eyes for you to see, and caught your hand against my cheek and breast, and all my pretty follies flung aside that won you to me, and beneath your gaze, naked of reticence and shorn of pride, spread like a chart my little wicked ways. I, that had been to you, had you remained, but one more waking from a recurrent dream. Cherish no less the certain stakes I gained, and walk your memory's halls, austere, supreme. A ghost in marble of a girl you knew, who would have loved you in a day or two. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leo Ratner, and I will be reciting Mingus at the Showplace by William Matthews. I was miserable of course, I was 17. And so I swung into action and wrote a poem. And it was miserable, for that's how I thought poetry worked. You digested experience and chat literature. It was 1960 at the Showplace, long since defunct on West 4th Street, and I sat at the bar casting beer money from a thin reel of ones. The kid in the city, big ears, like a puppy. And I knew Mingus was a genius. I knew two other things, but they were wrong as it happened. So I made him look at the poem. There's a lot of that going around, he said. And sweet baby Jesus, he was right. He laughed amiably. He didn't look as if he thought bad poems were dangerous, the way some poets do. If they were baseball executives, they'd plot to destroy sandlots everywhere so that the game could be saved from children. Of course, later that night, he fired his pianist mid-number and flurried him from the stand. We've suffered a diminuendo in personnel, he explained, and the band played on.
Hello, my name is Angela Sun, and I will be performing Golden Retrievals by Mark Doty. Fetch! Balls and sticks capture my attention seconds at a time. Catch? I don't think so. Bunny. Tumbling leaf. A squirrel who's, oh joy, actually scared. Sniff the wind, then I'm off again. Muck, pond, ditch, residue of any thrillingly dead thing. And you? You're either sunk in the past half our walk, thinking of what you can never bring back, or else you're off in some fog concerning tomorrow. Is that what you call it? My work. To unsnare time's warp and woof, retrieving my haze-headed friend, you, this shining bark. A Zen master's bronzy gong calls you here, entirely, now. Bow wow, bow wow, bow wow. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kira Wiesel, and I will be reciting A Poison Tree by William Blake. I was angry at my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry at my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow, and I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears. And I sunned it with smiles and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning, glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Caroline Zlackett, and I will be reciting Double Dutch by Gregory Pardlow. The girls turning double dutch bob and weave like boxers pulling punches, shadowing each other, sparring across the slack cord, casting parabolas in the air. They whip, quick as an infant's pulse, and the jumper, before she enters the winking, nods in time as if she has a notion to share, waiting her chance to speak. But she's anticipating the upbeat like a band leader, counting off the tune they're about to swing into. The jumper stair-steps into motion as if she's jumping rope in low gravity, training for a lunar mission. Airborne a moment long enough to fit a second thought in, she looks caught in the mouth bones of a fish as she flutter floats into motion like a figure in a stack of time-lapse photos thumbed alive. Once inside, the bells tied to her shoestrings rouse the gods who have lain in the dust since the Dutch acquired Manhattan. Her misted skin arranges the light with each adjustment and flex. now heather-hued, now sheen, light listing on the fulcrum of a wrist, and the bare jutted joints of elbow and knee, and the faceted surfaces of muscle, surfaces fracturing and reforming like a sun-tickled sleeve of running water. She makes jewelry of herself, and garlands the ground with shadows. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Connor Heroes, and I will be reciting April Love by Ernest Dowson. We have walked in love's land a little way. We have learnt his lessons a little while. And shall we not part at the end of the day with a sigh, a smile? A little while in the shine of the sun, we were twined together, joined lips, forgot how the shadows fall when the day is done, and when love is not. We have wrote no vows, there will none be broke. Our love was as free as the wind on the hill. We have said no word we need wish unspoke. We have wrought no ill. And so shall we not part at the end of the day, we who have loved and lingered a little while? Join lips one last time, go our way with a sigh, a smile. Thank you.
My name is still Javier Kataria, and I will be reciting London by William Blake. I wander through each chartered street, near where the chartered Thames does flow, and mark in every face I meet marks of sadness, marks of woe. In every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear, in every voice, in every band, the mind-forged manacles I hear. How the chimney sweepers cry, every blackening church appalls, and the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls. But most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlots curse, blasts the newborn infant's tear, and blights with plagues the marriage hearse. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alex Nessie, and I will be reciting Safe in Their Alabaster Chambers, number 124 by Emily Dickinson. Safe in their alabaster chambers, untouched by morning and untouched by noon. Sleep, the meek members of the resurrection, rafter of satin and roof of stone. Grand go the years in the crescent above them, worlds scoop their arcs, and firmaments row, diadems drop, and doges surrender, soundless as dots on a disk of snow.
Hi, my name is Ella Maltzman, and now I will be reciting The Obligation to Be Happy by Linda Pastan. It is more onerous than the rights of beauty or housework, harder than love, but you expect it of me casually, the way you expect the sun to come up, not in spite of rain or clouds, but because of them. And so I smile, as if my own fidelity to sadness were a hidden vice. That downward tug on my mouth, my old suspicion that health and love are brief irrelevancies, no more than laughter in the warm dark, strangled at dawn. Happiness. I try to hoist it on my narrow shoulders again. A knapsack heavy with gold coins. I stumble around the house, bump into things. Only Midas himself would understand. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Caitlin McCormick, and I'll be reciting Novel by Arthur Rimbaud. 1. We aren't serious when we're 17. One fine evening to hell with beer and lemonade, noisy cafes with their shining lamps. We walk under the green linden trees of the park. The lindens smell so good in the good June evenings. At times, the air is so scented, we close our eyes. The wind, laden with sounds, the town isn't far, has the smell of grapevines and beer. 2. There you can see a small patch of dark blue, framed by a little branch, pinned up by a naughty star that melts in gentle quivers. Small and very white. Night in June, 17 years old. We are overcome by it all. The sap is champagne and goes to our head. We talked a lot and feel a little kiss on our lips, trembling there like a small insect. 3. Our wild heart moves through novels like Robinson Crusoe, when, in the light of a pale street lamp, a girl goes by, attractive and charming, under the shadow of her father's terrible collar. And as she finds you incredibly naive, while she clicks her little boots, she sees you. Then, 4. You are in love, occupied until the month of August. You are in love, Your sonnets make her laugh. All your friends go off. You are ridiculous. Then one evening, the girl you worship deigned to write to you. That evening, you return to the bright cafes. You ask for beer or lemonade. We're not serious when we are 17 and when we have green linden trees in the park.
Hello, my name is Kai Morfin, and I will be performing Sign for My Father, Who Stressed the Bunt by David Bottoms. On the rough diamond, the hand-cut field below the dog lot and barn, we rehearsed the strict technique of bunting. I watched from the infield, the mound, the backstop. As your left hand climbed the bat, your legs and shoulders squared towards the pitcher. You could drop it like a C down either baseline. I admired your style, but not enough to take my eyes off the bank that served as our center field fence. Years passed. 3 leagues of organized ball. No few lives. I could homer into the left field lot of Carmichael Motors, and still you stress the same technique. The crouching spring, the lead arm absorbing just enough impact. That whole tiresome pitch about basics never changing. And I never learned what you were laying down. Like a hand brushed across the bill of a cap. Let this be the sign. I'm getting a grip on the sacrifice.
My name is Asha Ramakumar, and I will be reciting Monet Refuses the Operation by Liesl Mueller. Doctor, you say there are no halos around the streetlights in Paris, and what I see is an aberration caused by old age, an affliction. I tell you, it has taken me all my life to arrive at the vision of gas lamps as angels, to soften and blur and finally banish the edges you regret I don't see, to learn that the line I call the horizon does not exist, and sky and water, so long apart, are the same state of being. 54 years before I could see, Rouen Cathedral is built of parallel shafts of sun. And now you want to restore my youthful errors, fixed notions of top and bottom, the illusion of 3-dimensional space, wisteria separate from the bridge it covers. What can I say to convince you the Houses of Parliament dissolve night after night to become the fluid dream of the Thames? I will not return to a universe of objects that don't know each other, as if islands were not the lost children of one great continent. The world is flux, and light becomes what it touches, becomes water. Lilies on water, above and below water, becomes lilac and mauve and yellow and white and cerulean lamps, small fists passing sunlight so quickly to one another that it would take long streaming hair inside my brush to catch it, to paint the speed of light. Our weighted shapes, these verticals, burn to mix with air and change our bones, skin, clothes to gases. Doctor, if only you could see how heaven pulls earth into its arms and how infinitely the heart expands to claim this world. Blue vapor without end. Thank you.
Hello, I'm still Leo Ratner, and I will be reciting Flying Lesson by Dolores Hayden. Focus on the shapes. Cirrus, a curl. Stratus, a layer. Nimbus, a heap. Cumulus, a small cloud. Cumulus humulus, a fine day to fly. Incus, the anvil, stay grounded. Nimbus, rain, be careful. Don't take off near Nimbus stratus, a shapeless layer of rain, hail, ice, or snow. Ice weighs on the blades of your propeller, weighs on the entering edge of your wings. Read a cloud. Decode it. A dense, chilly mass can shift, flood with light. Watch for clouds opening under you. The sky opens in a breath, shuts in a heartbeat. Thank you.
My name is Angela Sun, and I will be reciting Who Understands Me But Me by Jimmy Santiago Baca. They turn the water off, so I live without water. They build the walls higher, so I live without treetops. They paint the windows black, so I live without sunshine. They lock my cage, so I live without going anywhere. They take each last tear I have, so I live without tears. They take my heart and rip it open. I live without heart. They take my life and crush it, so I live without a future. They say I am beastly and fiendish, so I have no friends. They stop up each last hope, so I have no passage out of hell. They give me pain, so I live with pain. They give me hate, so I live with my hate. They have changed me, and I am not the same man. They give me no shower, so I live with my smell. They separate me from my brothers, so I live without brothers. Who understands me when I say this is beautiful? Who understands me when I say I have found other freedoms? I cannot fly or make something appear in my hand. I cannot make the heavens open or the earth tremble. I can live with myself, and I am amazed at myself, my love, my beauty. I am taken by my failures, astounded by my fears. I am stubborn and childish. In the midst of this wreckage of life they incurred, I practice being myself. And I have found so many parts of myself never dreamed of by me. They were goaded out from under rocks in my heart when the walls were built higher, when the water was turned off and the windows painted black. I followed these signs like an old tracker, and followed the tracks deep into myself, deeper into dangerous regions where I found so many parts of myself where I found so many parts of myself that taught me that water is not everything, who gave me new eyes to see through walls, and when they spoke, sunlight came out of their mouths. I was laughing at me with them. We laughed like children and made pacts to always be loyal. Who understands me when I say this is beautiful? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kira Wiesel, and I will be reciting Every Single Day by John Straley after Raymond Carter's Hummingbird. Suppose I said the word springtime, and I wrote the words King Salmon on a piece of paper and mailed it to you. When you opened it, would you remember that afternoon we spent together in the yellow boat when the early whales were feeding and we caught our first fish of the year? Or would you remember that time off Cape Flattery when you were a little girl, your father smoking, telling stories as he ran the boat? And then that tug and zing of that very first fish spooling off into the gray-green world, you laughing and brushing back your hair before setting the hook. I know I am hard to understand sometimes, particularly when you're standing at the post office with only a piece of paper saying King Salmon on it, but just think of it as a promissory note. And that electric tug, that thrill pulling your mind into deep water, is how I feel about you every single day. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Caroline Zlackett, and I will be reciting So This is Nebraska by Ted Kooser. The gravel road rides with a slow gallop over the fields, the telephone lines streaming behind, its billow of dust full of the sparks of red-winged blackbirds. On either side, those dear old ladies, the loosening barns, their little windows dulled by cataracts of hay and cobwebs, hide broken tractors under their skirts. So this is Nebraska. A Sunday afternoon, July. Driving along with your hand out, squeezing the air, a meadowlark waiting on every post. Behind a shelter belt of cedars, top deep in hollyhocks, pollen, and bees, a pickup kicks its fenders off and settles back to read the clouds. You feel like that. You feel like letting your tires go flat, like letting the mice build a nest in your muffler, like being no more than a truck in the weeds, clucking with chickens or sticky with honey, or holding a skinny old man in your lap while he watches the road, waiting for someone to wave to. You feel like waving. You feel like stopping the car and dancing around on the road. You wave instead and leave your hand out gliding, lark-like, over the wheat, over the houses. Thank you.
There you have it. Audience, I would like to thank you for listening so well and for responding so warmly. Poetry requires silence and it requires patience, and you all practiced that beautifully today. And performers, thank you for being brave.